So we're starting the recording now, and now I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So we are talking today about non-fungible tokens. What are NFTs and how you can benefit from this technology? We're gonna do an introduction, a quick introduction about who is here, and just to hear a bit more about you. It will help me gear the discussion later on, depending on your background. Then I'm gonna be talking a bit more about blockchain and NFTs. This is for newbies, so even if you don't know anything about this space, hopefully I'm gonna do a simple introduction about that. Then I'm gonna show you how you can create your own NFTs if that's something you're interested in, or maybe trade with NFTs and collectibles. And then we're gonna conclude with a quick discussion and then a talk about how can we go from there. So this is a bit about me. I'm the data to decision lead at Mindsets. I'm sharing tech and AI insights through rogueai.co. If you have a chance, check my website there. And then if you would like a recording of this talk, drop your email on my newsletter on my website, and then you'll get a recording of this talk. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'd love to keep in touch with everyone here. So with that being said, I would love to get to know you a bit more. How about maybe someone starts by your name, where you're joining from, why you're interested in NFTs, and if you're interested in telling me more a bit about your background, that will be amazing.
Yeah, I can start. My name is Kevin Jones. I'm an engineer working out of Seattle. I used to live in San Francisco, but I just moved here, and I'm trying to move back actually. But yeah, basically, I started to get into the blockchain space. I've deployed my own cryptocurrency and NFT, so I understand the technology. Kind of just here to network and hear from other people.
All right, that's awesome, Kevin. So we have Kevin from Seattle who has experience in blockchain and then NFTs. So Kevin, please help me out throughout this talk. I'm also a bit new. I don't claim to be an expert in this. So who
No
else?
worries.
Yeah, I'll go. So my name's Sean Joseph. I run a Google developer user group out of San Antonio. I invited a few of our members here tonight. I don't know who showed up or who didn't. There's so many names in the chat right now. I can't scroll through them all. I'm a Microsoft developer by trade, so Seattle definitely is something I'm familiar with. And I've been investing and doing different things with cryptocurrency for about 8-9 years now. So just
Wow.
interested to keep learning. And there's always something new in the space.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna refer to you, Sean, as the expert on crypto here. You obviously have more experience than me in this space. So please correct me if I go wrong, and then feel free to jump in whenever you want.
thanks.
All right. So who else is here? Come on, we need to fill them up, guys. So we have Kevin from Seattle, and then Sean
Yeah.
from San Antonio, and his group.
I'm Sarah Matar from Medford, Oregon. I'm a doctor. I'm a newbie to all of this work, so I'm here just to learn. I don't know anything.
All right.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Sarah, the newbie from Medford, just right next door.
I'm Tom. Can you hear me? I'm on a
I,
new device.
I can hear you excellent,
Okay.
very well.
Tom Ciesnak. I'm from Central Point, just to skip up the road from Sarah, and 3 skips up the road from me. I've got a networking degree, which I don't use. I just like to stay up on technology.
Excellent. So thanks for joining, Tom. Good to see familiar faces. And then I think there's There's like an echo from your side, so if you're not speaking, you can mute. Oh, that's not Tom. That's maybe Mark. Mark, I think that's coming from your side. There's a
It shouldn't be. I
heavy.
have earbuds in.
Okay, but you have like a noise coming from
Okay.
your end.
Yeah, sometimes the motherboard picks up the sound. Quickly then, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm new to the technology. I'm here to learn about the NFTs because I saw it in the news, and I just want to see how it applies to the blockchain environment.
Beautiful. So we have Mark from Boston. Thank you for coming, Mark. Um, Anybody else? We still have maybe one or two more that can introduce themselves before we kickstart the session.
Hi, can anybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, my name's Richard Rogers. I represent Race Car Music, which is my company. I'm based out of Cologne in Germany. It's
Nice.
2:10 in the morning here.
Wow,
And
that's some commitment.
yeah, well, it's
Thank you for
it's a bit.
joining.
I just want to go to sleep actually, but here you go. I thought I'd give you a bash. This is my first time going on to an NFT bash, so I thought I'd give it a go. I'm a complete newbie to this, but I'm just about to manage a German artist, and as in a music artist. And in addition, I'm also a painting artist as well. So I want to see how those two things might calibrate with what's happening with NFTs.
Wow.
I'm English, by the way, although I'm in Germany.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And then I was going to ask if there's any artist or persons from an artistical background. So I think you'll be a very great addition to this discussion today. Thank you for being here, and I hope we won't put you to sleep by this discussion today. So I know it's 2 a.m. from your side.
I'll do my best to keep myself awake.
All right, all right. I'll do my best also, I promise. So I think that is great. We have people from all over the place. This is what I like to see: different backgrounds, diversity of opinions and backgrounds. So I think let's get started and kickstart the session. So we have artists among us, and then we have people with blockchain experience and tech experience. That is great. So I'm going to get started. So this is an introduction to non-fungible tokens. If you don't know what that means, it's fine. I'm going to explain everything as a 101 introduction. If you have some background into blockchain and NFTs, then just bear with me because this is a very introduction session for everyone. So what are NFTs and how you can benefit from this technology? I like to think about technology, at least in the past 60, 70 years, as growing through different waves. From the 1950s with mainframe computers to then the evolution towards client server PCs to then the introduction of the Web 1.0 and some e-commerce technologies. And then we had cloud computing and mobile. And then among each one of those phases, you have like different milestones, like the iPhone was in 2008. That was like not so long ago, like 12 years, right? And then with the abundance of data, we started hearing more about big data and analytics. What can you do with all of this data? And that is kind of my job where I try to make data useful to help people make better decisions. And then, I mean, this evolved a bit, or maybe in parallel with, so we have data from the internet and we can share it, but how about putting it on machines and sensors? And then we have what is known as the Internet of Things. In parallel, we have a lot of progress in artificial intelligence, which is what is powering a lot of the latest technologies like self-driving cars and many other things like that. And then we have blockchain kind of in the space here, and this is the discussion that we'll have today. And somewhere on the horizon, we have quantum computing, which is taking shape and will open the door in solving new problems. So among all of this, we have kind of digital technology waves. However, if we take a step back into history, specifically the history of information recording, I mean, we started by writing information on clay tablets and moving on to papyrus, then tally sticks. Then we have double entry bookkeeping, especially around accounting, and then just writing and then keeping tabs of accounts. And then we moved into the spreadsheet and Excel, and then it's still a very useful and valuable tool. But not so far recently, like in the, I think, past 30, 40 years, we have a technology that came about, which is called a distributed ledger, which is basically, think about it as a spreadsheet, but it's distributed into many different computing environments. And then this is the basis of the blockchain technology, the distributed ledger. So blockchain is basically an incorruptible system of records, i.e. a distributed ledger, allowing us to program virtually anything of value. This seems like a very abstract definition, at least for me. So the way I interpret this in my own personal definition of blockchain tech, which might not be perfectly accurate, but I like to approximate it as follow. Think about your Excel spreadsheet or your Google Sheets spreadsheet. Sorry, we have somebody that needs to be admitted. Sorry about that, I just admitted someone, but here we go again. So think about your Excel database. Is it a blockchain? No, it's just basically tables that you have some information in there, right? Then what if you can sync this Excel Google Sheet or this Excel database onto multiple different computers and let's say smartphones? Is it a blockchain? No, it's not. It's just kind of a database that you can access from everywhere. Now, what if you can also verify and agree on each entry with others? So for example, if I said 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and I put that as a data in my Excel spreadsheet, would that be a blockchain? Still no. Oops, a lot of people are joining late. I'm sorry about that. I have to get out to be able to come back to it. All right. So thanks for joining, whoever joined a bit late. We started the session, and then we're just defining blockchain technology. It's basically an Excel database that can sync across multiple computers, and you can basically verify and agree on information with different people and verify the truth of that information. Now, that doesn't completely do it unless you cannot erase and then modify the previous information. So if you have all of those 4 different features, it becomes what is known as a blockchain technology. Sorry again, I have people coming in.
Is that GitHub?
That's no, that's Google
Can't
Meet.
really GitHub. Well,
Yeah, that's Google Meet. I'm admitting people coming a bit late. Sorry about that. Okay. So that's the definition of blockchain technology. So how does it work? We don't need to get into the details, but it's basically you have a transaction which is distributed and broadcasted among different computer networks on the network. And then this transaction is basically verified by these computers using complicated cryptographic algorithm. And then once they're verified, it's a permanent record that is stored as a block on the blockchain. And then once that happens, you can say that a transaction happened, and if you're transferring something of value like Bitcoin or money or anything of values, the transfer can happen. Now, this is still a bit abstract, but I'll give you an example. So what is going on? I mean, if you're a bit familiar with the space, you've heard some words like Bitcoin or Ether. And what is going on in that space? What is that? What is a Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is a form of digital currency. So it's basically like the dollar, but think of it as a digital dollar, but with many different benefits. The dollar is controlled by the Federal Reserve or central banks in the case of other currencies. However, Bitcoin is a decentralized currency controlled by the network, let's say, on the blockchain, and then whoever has stake in that blockchain, right? And Ether, if you have heard about Ether, it's basically a currency powering digital blockchain applications. Now, what does that mean? It's if you're building an app, think about a Facebook app, for example, and you need to do a transaction on that Facebook app, for example, posting an image. In order to post an image and record that image, for example, on the blockchain, you need to use some transactional cost, and this cost is the currency considered and called Ether. That's the best approximation I can make to that. So I mean that's interesting, right? I mean you have I'm telling you that people invented a technology to store things of value, and you have things called like Bitcoin and like Ether, and then why should you care about these things, right? Well, I mean, it turns out a lot of people care about what's happening in this space, and then they're investing a lot of money there. And then so far, Bitcoin has reached a market value of about $1 trillion, and that's a lot of money, right? If you look at as of September 2018, all the money in the world was around 86 trillion, and then Bitcoin and all cryptos back then were around 200 billion. Now, as of March 2020, we are at 1.7 trillion. So that is a lot of that is a big market for and a lot of stuff happening in crypto. Now, what does that say? And why is that important? And then how is that related to NFTs? And how does that bring us to the world of NFTs? So we have the blockchain and everything that is going there, and which is a very big space with crypto reaching a $1 trillion plus market. And now we have what is called as NFTs. And then in that space, you hear like stories like someone paid 200K for a Lebron James video. Let's just watch that video quickly for comparison. If you can be a basketball fan or not, but this is just kind of to make a case of why would you um, pay 200K for this video, right? I mean, to some it might appear as a bit wow, what is going on here? I mean, I can watch that video on TV or on the internet, right? And so why would you pay 200K for that? So the simple answer really is bragging rights. I mean, that's my opinion at least. If you remember when you were kids and then you used to collect some trading cards, and then you wanted to have all the trading cards. So you kind of brag in front of your friends that you have like more than them, and so on, especially if it's something you're passionate about. So for somebody who is passionate in basketball and he's a big fan of LeBron James, he would want to collect all of his special moments. So having a tool or a place where he can claims that he is the biggest fan of LeBron James and he has all of his special moves is something that he might find valuable and pay 200K for it, right? So that is a bit kind of going into the psychology of humans and how they assign and put value on things.
Ali, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Does that person have control over that video, or is it utterly public?
So no, it's public. So this is a public video. I mean, I just downloaded the video and put it in my slides right now, right? It's a public video. Now I'll get to what would he get in return in a couple of slides, and why would you do that as an artist, for example? Why would you create an NFT and put it on the market?
That's
But
the
basically,
question.
it's
Go ahead.
public information. Yeah, that's the question exactly. Um,
Hey, Ali, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
What
go ahead.
happens with the copywriting of that?
Yeah, excellent question. So the artist typically, now there's different form of licensing, and licensing NFTs is basically still a work in progress. A lot of people are working on this right now. But from what I know, the copyright is for the artist, right? And then what happens is if an artist, let's say this video of LeBron James, and then I published that, and I own the copyrights for this, and then you bought that video. Um, you can commercialize this, and then you will have to pay me royalties on that. So it's a way to ensure the rights of the artist and to enable them to make a living from their digital productions. I'll give you an example later on, uh, which is a bit more kind of easier to grasp than kind of a video from the NBA. So, I mean, all of this, and we did not get into the definition of an NFT. I left it just to give you a feel of what's going on with the LeBron James example. So, what does NFT means? Non-fungible means it cannot be exchanged for like to like. What does that mean? A dollar is fungible, right? I mean, you don't care about a $10 versus another bill of $10. They're basically the same. But for example, you would care about your house. It's not like you can just get the same exact house like another one, right? And a token is basically a thing on the blockchain, an asset. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something on the blockchain with all the properties of the blockchain. So for the NFT, I want you to think about the definition as follows. It's like you have a magic Sharpie, and then you can just write your name and claim ownership of a physical or a digital asset with your magic Sharpie. So NFT equal magic Sharpie. For example, like to record a deed or a title, or to claim ownership of the LeBron James video, or to claim ownership of a painting that you made, a digital asset. The sky is the limit. People are still figuring out what they can NFT. And then that is kind of at least my understanding of the definition, and that's how I like to think about it. Trick question, can you NFT the moon, for example? I mean, is there something you cannot claim ownership on an NFT? I mean, without getting into philosophical discussion about ownership rights and property rights and all of that, basically, if you want to NFT something and create an NFT for something, it's something you should own. You can't just steal content from somebody else and NFT that content and claim it your own. It's something you should own, and you're creating it and you're putting it out there. So that is kind of what's happening right now in this space. And I hope this definition of NFT is a bit clear. If it's not clear, please shoot a question. I'll be happy to answer. All right, so it's clear. NFT is a magic Sharpie you can write your ownership of things with. All right, that's the simple definition. So what is happening in this crazy world, right? Let me just do this. I don't know if you heard about that, but I collected a couple of examples of what's happening in around NFTs right now. So you have Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. He sold his tweet as an NFT for about $3 million. And then, good thing he did, he donated that $3 million to a charity. You had an artist named Nyan Cat. No, the cat is Nyan Cat. An artist, I don't know his name, I forgot his name. He created a meme and he sold it for 500K. And this is kind of generating what is some buzz and then creating what is known as the meme economy. But that's not enough. What is happening in the space is not just constrained to digital asset. You have Nike, companies like Nike filing a patent for something, a shoes called crypto kick. So you would get proof of ownership with each shoe that you buy from Nike. Why is that important? I don't know if you're familiar a bit with the sneakers and people trading with sneakers and their collections and wanting to collect sneakers and famous shoes and famous series. So that would help drive the value of some of these stocks of shoes from Nike, because you can prove ownership and you can trace and verify this ownership. Now, what blew my mind, guys, is an artist called Beeple, based out of South Carolina. He sold his art, which is basically a picture. This picture that you see on the left here. Uh, it's basically digital art that he created for the first 5,000 days, and he continually created a digital art piece every day for 5,000 days. He collaged all of this into a big JPEG picture, and he sold his art for about $69 million. This made him one of the top three most valuable artists, living artists in the world. So how amazing is that? I mean, imagine this technology that is enabling an artist to sell his art at such amounts of money, right? So that is the power of kind of the blockchain technology, and this is also happening around in music. Grimes, a musician, sold 10 pieces of music slash video slash images for about $6 million. So, so the conclusion is NFTs are enabling the digital creator economy, and you yourself, you might be on multiple different spectrum of that. You can be a fan supporting your favorite creators and then just buying their creation. You can be a creator and an artist that is looking to monetize your work, right? And then you can use kind of this technology to put your work out there. Or you can also be a collector. I mean, you know an art, or you're very passionate about Nike sneakers, and then you can trade these sneakers or these memes as digital asset. So you're buying them at one price, you're selling them at another price, and you're making money and profit there. So the digital NFT economy was valued at $250 million last year. This year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bit much more higher, because we had a lot of transactions and activity there. So it's crazy, right? I mean, a lot of stuff is happening, a lot of really cool things happening around that space. But I mean, what's crazier is people are dreaming about future digital world, and then that's kind of a vision that some people are working towards. I don't know if you've read and you're familiar with the book by Neil Stephenson, Snow Crash. I'm currently reading that book. I'm a fan of science fiction. And then he basically talks about something called a metaverse, which is basically a digital world you can log into using virtual reality goggles. And it's your own world where you're building, you have your house, you have your car, you have your friends, and you're interacting with them, and you have real interaction with other people, but in the digital world. I mean, we have that right now with the internet and Facebook, but it's still a bit all over the place. In metaverse, Neil Stephenson described that as a real kind of virtual reality that you can tap into. And people are starting to realize and then making steps toward this vision with, for example, Republic Realm recently launching what is known as digital real estate investment. I know that Tom is in real estate. I think that's something that you might find interesting. So people are spending a lot more time online, and then these guys, what they're doing is, hey, why don't you buy a piece of online property for an X amount of dollars and digital currency? And then so people are getting creative in designing these digital property, this digital world where people can kind of invest in. And that's not just it. I mean, there's something called Decentraland where people are creating and exploring um, anything. I mean, you're creating a whole virtual world and then you can explore it, and it's built by users. So a lot of things going on, and then it's kind of a crazy world if you're not familiar with it, but that is something that it might be kind of our future vision that we're driving to. So the most important question for you today is, with all of this background in NFT and then a lot of the cool or maybe crazy stuff that is happening, can you uh, create NFTs? If you had a famous second grade art drawing that you really like, can you just do that and create it as your NFT? The answer is yes. And hopefully today I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I'm gonna do a quick demo right now. I won't do it from scratch, but I'm gonna try to walk you as best as I can uh, through the process of creating an NFT. Before I start the demo, do you guys have any questions for me?
I didn't have a question so much, just a statement that I think it's kind of funny because if you look at Second Life and Minecraft, they had a lot of these concepts before cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency has kind of been, I guess, a draw to people to make real money with it as opposed to just making it and virtually.
That is right. That's absolutely right. It's like it's fueling, it's establishing the infrastructure to be able to transact and then in the digital world. And it's kind of the building blocks. I don't see kind of, at least that's my personal opinion, I don't see kind of the metaverse or the digital afterlife or digital world happening at a mass public scale in the next 5 years, but I see it in the next 50 years. That is something that it will become increasingly popular.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. I'm glad you're still awake, man.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just a quick one on digital art. Now, if I paint a painting, which I do, obviously, I'm assuming that the painting itself cannot be classed as digital art. I'm actually painting it with a paintbrush and with ordinary paint. So, to make it available as an NFT, could I just take a photograph of it, and would that count? How would it work?
The simple straight answer is yes. Any form of digital media, you can put it and then attach it to the blockchain as a token and an NFT. Now, you have to bear in mind that you as an artist, your creation, for example, if it's a physical creation with a painting with brushes, and then you want to transfer it into the digital world, you have a lot of freedom in doing that. For example, maybe it's not just a picture that you want to create and then put it out there. Maybe you want to create the whole process and film it as a video. Maybe you want to put some musing around that. Maybe you want to overlay different stuff with special effects until you reach your end product. So it augments your capability and then your thinking as an artist in using all the digital tools to create your art. So don't limit yourself to just, hey, I'll snap a picture and put it out there. You can do that, and that is perfectly fine if you create and then target your audience, and that's what they like. But for you now, the technology is enabling you to do much more than that.
Okay, thank you for that.
I'm gonna show you. So this is a good question to get into the demo, unless anybody has another question before I jump into the demo.
I have one.
Sure. Hey, Luke. Good to see you back.
Yeah. Is that any like I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Brave rewards or basic attention token. I looked into it and through the Brave browser. I set it on my site, but didn't nothing really came of it. I don't think really many people use Brave. I'm curious what you thought of it.
Yeah, I can tell you a bit about Brave, but I'm wondering if Sean might have a better answer than me. Sean, do you want to answer the Brave question? I don't know if you're familiar
Well,
with it.
I'm just always in it for the money. So I know that when I first bought the Brave token on Coinbase, it was at 20 cents. The last time I checked, it was at, I don't know, maybe 70 to $1. So it made money. That's what I could tell you about it. But yeah, I'm familiar with it. That's probably all I have to say.
Brave is their own token currency?
Yep, you can get it on Coinbase, BAT.
Oh, I thought it was you put money you put money in your account, and sites that you go to, you would leave a tip for them, basically, to all the places you regularly go to.
You can earn Brave that way also, and give away Brave, but it has a value, a store value. So anyway, I don't want to hog the conversation, but definitely if you want to check it out, it's on Coinbase. It's BAT is the token.
Yep. I can tell you more about Brave at the end if you want. Look, we can discuss that. But it is a token, just like an art piece that you create, and it's a token. And then they're using it within a business model that they have to create a new form of interaction on the web without digital ads, and then with different kind of business model. Yeah, so let's do a demo. Let's show you guys how to create quickly an NFT. So I'm assuming if you're familiar with Coinbase, great. If you're not, this is Coinbase. It's basically a marketplace to buy cryptocurrency. So what you do is basically you log into Coinbase, get started, you sign up, and then you put in your credit card and you try to buy some cryptocurrency. Now, Coinbase is very popular in the US. In other parts of the world, you can use different different platforms and marketplaces for crypto. I personally have used Binance previously, and I've used one out of Europe, Bitstamp, and then you can just use any of these. It doesn't have to be Coinbase. I personally use Coinbase right now, but this is kind of your gateway into buying and selling cryptocurrency. So once you do that, I highly advise you next to put your crypto somewhere in a safe in a wallet. What does that mean? It's just like your own money. You have cash, you take it from the ATM, and then you put it in your wallet, right? And then that is exactly the same thing with crypto. You basically download this app, and where you safeguard your money, your digital currency, whether it's Ethereum or BAT. We're just talking about BAT, or Bitcoin, right? And you have it in your wallet. So that is two. And then to get the wallet, you just basically download it on your phone, and then you have it on your phone. So I'm just talking about these because I already did them, and then I'll be showing you a demonstration of step 3 and step 4 right now. So next is, okay, so you have crypto, you have some money. Let's say for now I have Ethereums and then Ether, which is a cryptocurrency. And then what I need to do now is to go to marketplaces, to NFT marketplaces. So for example, Rarible.com is a popular marketplace. You also have OpenSea, another popular NFT marketplace, and you have many others, Super Rare and other kind of different marketplaces. But I'm gonna just talk about the Rarible today. And then what you see here on Rarible is, for example, I'm seeing top sellers. So this guy named Pac in 30 days has sold 663 Ether. What is 663 Ether times, what is an Ether today? Is it, I don't know, maybe 500? That's close to $1 million. So this guy has made close to $1 million in sales in 30 days selling his digital art. So if you want to click on him and then see what is some of the art that he's sold and he traded, look at this. It can be anything. So for some of you, this might look, I mean, stupid, and you wouldn't pay even $1 on, but that's not the point. It's not about you, right? It's about finding people that care about a digital creation out there, and then they're willing to pay money for that, right? And then this guy with his collection, he has been able to do that, right? And in buying and then and selling NFTs. So all of these, some of them are pictures, some of them are videos, and then some of them are I don't think he has some music here. The last thing I'll mention before showing you a bit the demo is you have different form of NFT, at least on Rarible. Some of them are art, some of them are photographies, some of them are games, some of them are metaverses, like digital creations, digital 3D creations. Some of them are music. Some of them are domains, like google.com, for example, but for the blockchain world. Some of them are memes, for example, and you have certain different memes, right? So certainly the scene and then the categories are kind of growing and exploding. So now, okay, so assuming you have a really popular thing that you're working on, let's say it's a song, or let's say it is a picture, a drawing that you did, or maybe it's a famous encounter that you got on video with a famous person in his last moments, for example, and he told you a very famous saying. I'm just making this up right now, right? And then some people are dying to know more about that, and then they want to kind of own this last moment of that last famous person. Maybe that is something that you can NFT and then put on a marketplace. I mean, will somebody find it useful? Maybe. Will you invest in it? Maybe not. That's the whole beauty of this marketplace. You have to build your audience and your market. So how does it work now if you want to create your own NFT? So what you have to do is basically, once you have your wallet, you have to connect your wallet. So I'm going to click on Connect Wallet here, and I'm going to use so you have different technologies to connect your wallet. So let's click on Fortmatic here. You don't even need to know what that is. You basically put in your email. I have a password here for this, and I'm just gonna copy paste my password here. And then I have an authentication on my phone, so nobody can steal my password. So 905.514, and now I'm logged into my account. How do I know it's my account? Because that's my logo here. And then if I go to my profile, that's my profile here. It's called Zima, right? And then this is the NFT I created, just especially for you guys for this talk, just to try the platform. And then that is my NFT. Did I sell it? No, I did not sell it yet. Nobody is interested into this art piece right now. I made 21 copies of it available. I priced each copy at 0.2 Ether, just because I could, right? Who's to say that my art isn't worth that much? And then it's out there. So for example, if anyone is interested in buying this, he'll just log in here. He'll just go to Rarible, click on buy, and I'll get 0.2 Ether, right? Now, what will happen after that? After the sale happen, every time this NFT is traded, I'll make some money out of it in terms of royalties. So if I'm an artist and I want to live from my art, that would be a really good way to be able to monetize my art. So enough about this. Let me show you what happens if I click on create. Okay, let's say you want to create your own NFT. So you click on create here, and then you have two options, for example. You can create one single piece, just like Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. He created his first tweet as an NFT and he sold it there as a single piece. There's somebody who's typing a bit loud, so I think it's if you can mute yourself while you're typing, please. I think it's no. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Yeah. So you basically click on single, and what is happening here is it will tell you to choose a file that you want to kind of put as your NFT. So I'll put it out there, and let's say I want to put it on sale, and then instant sales price. I don't want to do that. Collection, let's leave it with the rarible collection so I don't pay some extra money. I'm gonna name it a cute puppy. I'm gonna name it Rogue AI Talk example NFT cute puppy. So if you have any questions while I'm doing this, just shoot.
I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So people have to agree that this is a value, right, for the technology to work. So let's say I have a piece of art I throw up there for a demo and you take it and you market it and sell it. How does the policing or how does the shared approval work in this situation?
Yeah, that is exactly a very it's this is an area of that is not a problem that is not solved. So it's like piracy, right? If you put something and that you don't own and then you use it, I mean, you're breaking the law, right? There's nothing. So, for example, this picture of the puppy, I did not take that picture, so I don't own it, right? That is not my puppy. Me doing that and then making money out of that is an infringement on the copyrights of whoever took uh, that photo, right? I do not have the right to do that. So if you are planning on creating your own digital art or putting your content out there, it should be something that you are creating and you are generating, right?
Okay.
Else
So
you're
this
infringing.
technology is solved with a transaction like Bitcoin. That transaction is approved and monitored, but something like this is yet to be ironed out.
No, even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin and blockchain, they're basically tools and technologies to prove and trace ownership of things, right? So if you are putting something in the system that you do not own, and then claiming it's yours, and the system doesn't know that, right? I mean, whatever technologies that you bring, like blockchain and all of that, it cannot tell you that this is true and then you are the true owner of that, unless you created it and then you're abiding by the laws. The technology will ensure that whatever money and whatever kind of income that you make is traceable back to you as the owner. But like I said, this picture of the puppy, I did not make it, right? But I just copy pasted from the net and I put it in here. Will that what will happen, for example, is whoever took that picture will come back and then tell me, hey, you're making money out of my art, and then we go into that dispute, for example. But that
Yeah.
is kind of the wrong way to look at it. Um, I mean, the technology will not solve the basic human flaws and character flaws of humans that want to kind of bypass the
Yeah.
system.
Over time it will. Same as the internet. The copyrights will work their way in.
Yeah. So this technology ensures traceability. If you put something that you own and then you create it and you're putting it out there, You have a forever digital right and ownership that is traceable back to you, that you own this item, all right, because you put it out there.
Yep.
So it's like the video of the Lebron James, that video from NBA. I can take that video and put it out there on the platform right now, and then try to sell it, right? But because that's famous, people will know that I'm not the original owner of that video because it's NBA who's the owner of that video, and then they won't trust me and they won't do business with me anymore.
Yep.
So,
Thanks.
other than claiming ownership of the image or whatever media was on the token, what else? Is there anything else in it for the person buying the art?
So
Like, can they resell it and then get
yeah,
income off that?
yeah, you can. So that is one of that is so collectors. So you have three people who are benefiting in this the whole NFT system. One, basically, it's yeah. So you have the fans. If you want to support an artist, you are one of the beneficiary. You have a creator, and then you're basically putting your work out there, and then you're selling it, and you're generating royalties out of that. And then you have people. You don't need to be an artist to generate art and then deal with NFTs. You can be a collector. You really like, let's say, puppies that are black with brown eyebrows, and then you're creating a collection of brown eyebrows puppies in the whole world, right? The biggest collection. Then you can start this collection, and once you have it and then you're building it, you can sell it, and people might want that collection, and they start paying you money for it, and then you'll be able to trade that collection and then work on that. So three types of way you can deal with the blockchain NFT world. As a
But
fan,
after
yeah, go ahead.
But after you sell it, do you get anything like the royalties that the original creator gets, or is it just resale value?
Yeah, so don't quote me exactly on this, but I think the original artist will get a royalty. If you're selling it, you're just making the profit out of the sale. So if you bought it for $10 and then you're selling it for $1,000, well, you made 990, right? Minus the fees that go to the artist. But don't quote me on that. That's something I need to research a bit more, and then you can find that information somewhere online.
Hey, Ali, do these things have do they ever expire, or do they just stay just live forever?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So they won't expire as long as the internet is on and alive and there are computers online. I mean, they'll be out there because that's one of the benefits of blockchain systems. They're very robust, and then they're distributed on millions of computers all over the world, right? So they will not expire. Now, are these systems perfect? No, they're not. It's still work in progress. They have a lot of flaws, and then I'll talk about it in my conclusion in maybe 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Are collaborators allowed?
Yeah, go ahead, Shaila.
Are collaborators allowed?
Can you tell me more? What do you mean by collaborators?
Uh, Projects with teams.
Um, so I'm trying to think how would that work. I mean, you
Share a
can
wallet,
be.
maybe?
Yeah, Josh, you wanted to say something?
I'm not sure, but you could share a wallet or funds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, you can
I don't
share
know
a
how else you
wallet.
would organize that then.
I mean, are collaborators in the creation of the art, for example, allowed? I mean, you can have two artists working on a piece and then selling it and then dividing the revenues, right?
Right.
I mean, that's a possibility. You can have two people have access to the funds and the wallet, and you can share that wallet. So I mean, I would say yes, but you have to work out what you mean by the collaboration and to what extent you want it. I think we have a question here. Yes, we answered that. So let me show you what happens
Oh
here.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something?
Are the files on the blockchain themselves, or is the
Excellent
like
question,
certificate of
Josh.
ownership on there?
Yeah, that is an excellent question, and that is a tricky question. No, the files are not. So that is one of the shortcomings of blockchain tech right now. It's still something that is in the works. It's super expensive to store data on a blockchain, and it doesn't scale well with the amount of transactions. So what they store is a cryptographic key that represents that file. Think of it as a link to that file. And that is why I was saying before that, I mean, as long as the internet is up and databases are up, then your files should be there. But for example, if the company that is managing one of the huge databases in the world that have the contents of the files there goes down, then we're in trouble, right? And that is an area of active research in terms of distributing files and then putting them on the blockchain.
Yeah, I think there are like a few currencies trying to implement that.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so I just want to click that button here, so you just guys figure out what will happen. Uh, Name. So let's give our puppy a name. What should his name? Let's name him Rogue AI, the rogue puppy. Okay. So what will happen now if I create the item? Okay. So I'm gonna click create. Okay, so look what happened. App request, confirm interaction with this app. So I have my wallet, which is connected to the Rarible, and it's saying that to be able to create this digital art, my puppy, it's gonna cost me about this much in the Ether, and that's about $12.8. Just for the sake of this presentation, and then as a permanent record that we did create an NFT, I'm gonna click on confirm and pay the $12.8. It's gonna take a while, and sometimes it fails. All right. Okay, this was quick this time. If I click on this, so you see, this is Etherscan is basically a record of all the transactions on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. And then it's saying me, okay, this is the link to your transaction, and it was successfully created. Now, what is happening is I have my transaction request. What I'm gonna have now is to upload the file and to create a link to the file. It's a three-step process here. Then as soon as that is done, okay, look at that. So this is another fee of around $81, which is 0.0511 Ether. So just again, for the sake of this presentation, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then spend 0.05 Ether. So I'm gonna click on that. It's gonna take a while. And then what will happen, the last step would be to sign off the request. And then I will have my cute Rogue AI puppy on the blockchain, on Rarible, and people can buy it or sell it, or I can basically sell it, right, and then trade with it. A couple of more seconds, we can wait for it. I think we have 1-2 minutes left in the stock, but I think to be beneficial to just check how things will be. Let's get back to it as soon as it's done. What I want to kind of conclude with was this. So I cannot tell you if this is something right for you. You'd have to think it with yourself. I mean, you can play this game in three ways. You can support artists and buy their NFTs and then their art. And creators doesn't have to be an artist, right? It can be any form of digital creation. You can be on the side of a trader, and you're a collector, and then I caution you to use reputable platform like Rarible and others, and then be aware that whatever you're buying in terms of NFTs, I mean, their value might crash anytime. So this is a very speculative market right now. And then last, you can, for artists and creators, you can sell your digital creation as an NFT, but be aware that the value is in your work and then how you market yourself. I mean, you need to market yourself as an artist and position yourself out there in order to create and then market NFTs successfully. People need to believe in your vision, in your art, in what you're trying to do. NFT is just a technology allowing you to reach a new audience of collectors to market your art to. It's not gonna make you rich, right? It's just the magic Sharpie that writes your name on your digital art. So yeah, you need to think about these issues if you're interested into going into NFT. Let's see what happened here.
I'm sorry, can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does an artist have to be an individual or can it be a company?
Doesn't have to be an individual, no.
So you can essentially have a company that just puts out these art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean anybody. So that's the beauty of the blockchain. I mean, technically, I don't need to know who you are for you to be on the blockchain and then do trade and transaction. Practically, what happens is people will eventually know because of some of the rules and regulations that are happening currently there. But no, you don't need to be an individual. You can be a company.
And the income, is it 1099? So they get a 1099 statement at the end of the year?
So recently, the IRS has started to kind of regulate the space. So if you make money out of trading tokens and crypto, you have to kind of declare it, and then you have to pay taxes on your capital gain on those tokens. I forget what if it's a 1099 or whatever it is, but you have to fill a special
It's
form. I don't
taxed as
know,
property.
taxable properties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so there
whatever
you
those
go.
And they're
tax.
subject to short-term and long-term capital gains?
I think you pay
Yeah.
once, right?
No, it's short and long, just like
Short
you
and
would
long.
with
Okay.
any
Yeah.
other
Okay.
investment like
Okay.
that. So depending how long you hold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so hashtag not tax advice, right? Not tax advice, other advice, financial advice, investment advice of any kind. But in general, that's correct, right? The IRS since 2014 has been regarding digital currencies as property. And then specifically, since these are NFTs, right, that can be considered as what's called a collectible. So you can also qualify it as a collectible income, which will affect sort of like an upper bound on those rates, right? Because a short-term capital gain is usually taxed at your regular income. But then collectibles will have like a different thing. And if you use tax software, it'll have a checkbox in there typically.
Excellent. I didn't know that, so thanks, Thomas.
Thank you, guys.
Um, let's do a final check on this. It's still taking some time to kind of validate the transaction, but once it does, you click on sign and then the transaction will be out there, just like this is not an egg art piece. So with that, I think this will bring us to the end of our session. I just want to say one final thing. So what I'm trying to do with this, with Rogue AI, I'm trying to kind of share technology topic, especially the latest tech, in an easy way to involve business decision makers. And then anyone interested is welcome to kind of give a talk and just kind of share his knowledge or propose any topics that you're interested in discussing. And then all of this recording for this talk will be on our website, rogai.co. And for the locals in the area, we have a meetup that you can join. And we recently did the Facebook group just to keep discussion ongoing, if any. And then you can also follow us on Eventbrite to keep tabs about what's happening. Yes, and then please add me on LinkedIn. I think I'm gonna share this here. I'm happy to stay connected to all of you and then keep the discussion going. Just drop me a quick memo. Hey, we met on the Rogue AI talk. And also, if you don't mind, I'll be sharing you kind of sharing with you emails about the events that we're having maybe once or maybe twice a month. We do some of these talks. Um, I'll just be adding your email there. If that's something you're not interested to, just kind of unsubscribe from the emails, and I won't bother you again. So yeah, with that, I think that brings us to the our thingy passed. Please add at least 0.0243. What is that, man? I won't add that. Let's see. So I have 5 blocks confirmation. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm signing it, and then it should show. All right, so here we are. So we have a cute puppy, guys. Anyone that is interested in collecting cute puppies can just go ahead and then buy this image and then pay me. How much I'm selling it for? Oh, this is gonna be kind of a bid. I did not price it, so it's gonna go to the highest price out there. So obviously I'm gonna try to remove that or modify it somehow. But here you go. We created our NFT, cute puppy. Uh, and then if I was taking this seriously as something I want to do as an artist, I would obviously do things differently. I would have a plan on what is my art and what is my mission, what is my vision, and how I position myself, how I market myself and my art to my audience to be able to build that kind of uh, mystique and then message around my art and vision, right? Um, but I mean, I'm not a successful NFT kind of artist. There are tons of tips out there that you can check, and there's some articles that you can check for emerging artists around NFTs, and they have some tips. Be unique and memorable, engage with your audience, know how to market yourself, immerse yourself in NFT, be humble. I mean, all the trick of the games of selling yourself and marketing yourself still applies in here.
Where was that? Sorry, can you just show where that last lot of information came from?
Yeah, let me do
Please.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
If I create a video using TikTok and this becomes my digital product and I sell it for a crazy amount as my NFT, can TikTok come and claim profit from me for using their platform to create my digital art?
Um, I don't know what are the rules of ownership on TikTok, right? So do you own the videos that you put on TikTok? I don't know.
No, let's suppose I use TikTok or Instagram or whatever to create, yeah, or Reels, to create a video.
Mm,
And then that video I took and made an NFT and then sold it on the market.
yeah. Look,
Can
this is a tricky question because I'm not familiar with the licensing rules of Facebook, TikTok, and all of these guys. Do I own the stuff that I create on their platform? If the answer is yes to that question, then that would mean that you're the sole owner of that content, and then you're putting it out there as an NFT, and then you can monetize it the way you want, right? If the answer is no, and then there's some hooks there and how they treat the content that you share on their platform, then there'll be some kind of a cut for them, for example, or something related for them. But I mean, you don't need the TikTok to create a video. I mean, you can create a video with other tech that is free and open source. Just shoot it with your camera, right? I mean, if that was if that was kind of answer two in terms of they take a share of the content. But yeah, that's good thinking. I mean, video, image, sound. any of that stuff you can create NFT with. Any other questions? And then I shared with you the article here in the chat, so that should be it.
Yeah. Oh, question.
Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, it takes a long time for some any of the block transactions to happen, and yeah, I wonder how sustainable that is, and especially as they say, it takes an enormous amount of energy for them to run those.
That's right. Yeah, that is a significant challenge, and then there's no immediate solution that I know of right now, but this is a very active area of research um, in terms of how to reduce the energy footprint of mining. Mining is an operation to be able to uh, validate transaction and then put them on the block on the blockchain. Yeah, Josh, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I remember listening to some Lex Friedman interviewing the creator of Ethereum, and that creator was talking about moving Ethereum to proof of, was it not proof of work, but proof of stake, and not sure how that would work it exactly, but it was definitely one of the things that he cared about was kind of making it a bit more green. But I don't know. I also don't know if that mixes very well with the desires of all the miners out there, because I mean they want something that uses power so they can get money from it from their mining rigs.
But doesn't it also get very big, very like the number of transactions on top of transactions on top of transactions gets it to be even slower in the future, doesn't it?
No, it's actually faster now. So when crypto kittens became really popular, I couldn't move my Ethereum around almost for 2 days. So even now with all the stuff going on with NFTs, you can do pretty much within 20, 30 minutes. The problem is you have to pay more in gas and weed and all those kind of things. So that's what hurts you. But the transactions are actually faster now. I think they did either some kind of soft fork or there was a fork at some point where the transaction became faster. But I know that there's a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. I don't keep up with the versions where things are supposed to get faster than they are now. But 3 years ago, it was brutal. And it cost a lot of people a lot of money, including me, for sure, trying to move your Ethereum around.
Yeah, there are definitely scalability concerns, right? And so definitely so what we're seeing here is on the Ethereum mainnet, and it is it's pretty well at capacity, right? At pretty much at all times, all the block space is being used, and so that's why you're having these high gas fees, right? Like we just saw like a 12, almost a $13 gas fee to execute that transaction. And that's a competitive market, right? So it's just like an open bidding marketplace. So the more that you pay, the faster that you go. And eventually that forces out, it has like economic impact on the network, right? So eventually it forces out like less economically impactful transactions. And just like was mentioned, right, there is definitely a roadmap for getting to proof of stake, which is a different model. And so that will reduce the energy consumption by at least an order of magnitude, if not more than one order of magnitude. And so as part of that transition, it goes from being a single chain to being multiple chains that all are interlinked through this thing called a beacon chain. But it'll give you, at a minimum, you're going to get 64x the amount of transaction capacity that we have today. But also, the blocks will happen faster. Today, they're about 13 seconds apart. And in the future, it'll be more like 6 seconds apart. So that right there, you're getting 64 times 2, that's 128 x of scale. But then there's all kinds of technologies they call layer 2 solutions that will help get it to like literally be 100,000 x of what we can do today. So in general, like it should be enough when all those things come together to get the scale that is necessary to do things like this. I would say, like in general, people that are voicing concerns about sustainability and things like this, that network is there regardless of whether you're using it, right? That energy is being expended regardless of whether there's economically viable transactions in those blocks. The blocks will be mined whether they're empty or whether they're full, and miners are rewarded regardless of whether they're empty or full. So I feel like don't really worry about that. Like it's not like you're you're not like supporting something that's terrible or awful. And definitely values in the all values belief, right? Values in the eye of the beholder. So if someone doesn't value it, they don't have to participate. And also, like whenever you get into discussions about whether something is wasteful or is a dumb or stupid use of electricity, it's like that whole conversation needs to be taken to a medium that doesn't involve electricity, or else you start to look like a hypocrite, right? Because the person on the other side of that conversation will disagree with you and thinks that your use of the electricity to voice your opinion is, So anyway, so I think like really the market will dictate, right, whether or not it's a good use of energy and how much energy to use. So economics is telling us that, and that doesn't require anyone's opinion. And then also the scale will be there. It will take a year or two to get there, but by the end of this year or early, like say first quarter of next year, there will be significant scale, and within 2 years there will be, like basically an order of magnitude of not scale. So I think that addresses like all those points. But I would just say like don't feel guilty. Like if you're doing something on here, you're not boiling the ocean.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure how using less energy is going to work or would work at all, because if anything's profitable, then I'm going to keep my mining rig on.
Right. So with the transition to proof of stake, all the mining rigs go away, right? So today it's basically like an arms race, right? Like you get as much computing power as you can, and all that computing power is securing the network. Okay. And so like, and I would say like, this will be controversial, but I would say that anything that you do with Ethereum or even Bitcoin is a lot more like ecologically sound than anything you do using like say US dollars, right? And the reason I say that is because the security paradigm of Bitcoin or Ethereum is transparent. We know exactly how much hash power there is, and we can determine like approximately how much energy is used to produce that. For something like the US dollar, which is otherwise known as the petrodollar, I mean, you're talking about the force and might of the US military that's backing up that dollar, right? So like all the wars that we wage and all the banks in the entire world, right? So the US dollar is the global reserve currency. And you have all the other currencies that are pegged to that in some way, shape, or form through foreign exchange, right? So all those banks and all the people that work at them and all the cars that they take to work and all the lights they have on and all the data centers that they have, and then that's just the banking system, right? And then you have things like the credit networks, right? So Visa, MasterCard, all their employees, all their institutions, all of their data centers. And when you add all that up, plus all the militaries that are there to backstop those currencies, you're talking about the largest consumers of oil that have ever existed in human history. So I would say that Bitcoin doesn't come close to that. Ethereum doesn't even come close to Bitcoin. So I would say it's one of the cleanest forms, most efficient forms of money that we've ever seen in human history, other than like the primitive forms of exchanging seashells and things like that. So I think it's actually like really like almost like a non-issue. It's sort of people that maybe have sort of like kind of understood generally what's happening, but they haven't really researched it.
Man, that is an excellent argument that you're making, Thomas. It's interesting, like the same question and the same problem, how it shifted when you increase the perspective. Because I mean, people were saying that yeah, it requires X amount of energy to mine a Bitcoin that will power a whole city or whatever that number is. I mean, they're losing the perspective on the fiat and then the actual petrodollar and how much does it take to keep that system running. So that is the appropriate frame to be able to do the comparison. Thank you for that. I've never thought about it this way.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I just want to say, oh, sorry, Luke, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's interesting because, yeah, I mean, the government just adds numbers in some computer somewhere. That's also,
oh yeah,
yeah, it's interesting.
But for sure, I would say like whatever. There is a perception out there that these technologies are unclean or that they are wasteful. But for sure, like when you look at the proof of stake transition that Ethereum has slated for, it's about 2 years out. When that hits, I mean, you're talking about massive radical reduction. And Josh, just to specifically address your point, because I didn't do the best job of addressing it, but all those rigs where it's like that competitive arms race to throw as much compute at the problem as possible, that all goes away. It's a switch from that paradigm to a new paradigm where there's basically like a limited number. So you have to garner 32 Ethereum, and then you put it into what's called a staking node. And this will run, like if you've ever heard of a Raspberry Pi, it's like a little computer that is the size of I got one right here. Yes, it's the size of a credit card. And so the point is that it uses about 5 watts of power. And well, actually, it's more like maybe 10 watts of power, but it's super energy efficient, and you can run one on here. But like this is the whole computer. It doesn't really work, but yeah. So you can run it on there. It's super low power, and it's just it's more based on like math and like random selection of who mines the next block versus the amount of power that you throw at it. So when that happens, there'll be basically like a natural limit to how many people could ever do that, because you need 32 ETH to do it, and there's only so many ETH. It's a scarce commodity. So there is a limit to how many people can participate, and then the amount of energy that they need to throw at it is actually quite small. So when that happens, all those concerns should evaporate.
32 ETH is $50,000.
Yeah,
yeah. Today's price is steep.
All right. Yeah, I'll be mining Ravencoin then.
Thomas, obviously you've done some research there. Gonzalo is asking, so does that mean blockchain technology is cleaner? I think you mean cleaner compared to the dollar and fiat currencies, right? Any research to back up this claim?
That's my opinion. There's lots of research out there. You know, there's a gentleman named Nick Carter with it's like NIC Carter. He's got some good research. There's a lady, Susan Sue. She has some good research. Lynn Alden has a little bit of stuff. But there's and CoinShares. There's a company called CoinShares. They have a couple of reports out there. But there's a lot of things, and there's actually there's a website, I can't remember it, but I know there's a website that's talking about it's basically dedicated to sort of like greenifying these technologies. Bitcoin in particular is particularly noteworthy. It does a lot of things to, you can argue, you can actually reduce carbon footprint. There's companies like Upstream Data and Great American Mining and a couple others. And basically what they do is, so where people are drilling for oil, right? There's a lot of, especially in fracking locations, there's a lot of natural gas that comes with it. And it's not economically viable to sell that gas. And it's very expensive to try to like create pipelines to get that, collect all that gas into a central location. It's very expensive to get the compressors that compress that stuff down. It has to, you basically need an engine that runs on natural gas to produce power to run this really expensive compressor to compress the natural gas into what they call LNG, liquefied natural gas, and then they ship it. So you have to run miles and miles and miles of pipeline, have all this equipment. It's very expensive, like literally millions of dollars. Or you can get like a little container, like a shipping container of Bitcoin miners, and they just hook it up to the wellhead. And instead of what they normally have to do, if that's too expensive to do all that, they flare it, right? So they just light a fire and they just burn off the gas. And first of all, that's just terrible. It's like if there is a waste of energy, that's a waste of energy. And also it's super inefficient. It's a really unclean burn. So like you're burning the gas sort of, but a lot of methane escapes, which methane, if you look methane versus carbon, it's way, way worse for the energy. So much more powerful greenhouse gas. But anyway, you basically contain all this gas, you get a good clean burn, and you harness the power to run the miners. So it's like a win-win-win. The environment, like all that stuff is good in the environment. The miners could, their thing. The energy producers, they can like run a more sustainable business model because they don't have like all this weird stuff, and then they don't get giant fines from the EPA for flaring. And there's actually like a whole bunch of stuff that is very synergistic there, but that's just an example. But yeah.
I feel like
so Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I
Josh,
feel
go
like
ahead.
okay.
Go ahead,
I
Josh.
feel like Bitcoin is kind of like the ultimate defense-backed currency, while the USD is the ultimate offense-backed currency.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin's a bit more defensive
So
because it's just distributed everywhere.
Yeah, it is distribution and decentralization. So I have a question. I was keeping tab of basically Ethereum scaling problem. I think a couple of years ago, but I've dropped a bit following the issue closely. And now you're mentioning proof of stake, and then I know that for Ethereum or Bitcoin to become an alternative digital currency that I can go and then use at any grocery store, and then to be kind of commercially um, distributed on a mass scale at all points of sale, it has a scalability problem. And then, as evidenced by the transaction right now, which took a couple of minutes kind of to validate, and that won't fly if I'm shopping at Walmart and I want to pay with Bitcoin. I won't be just waiting there a couple of minutes to validate my transaction with Bitcoin or Ethereum, for example. Compare that to Visa card and MasterCards, which we use right now, and then these guys are doing millions of transactions per second. Now, it looks like you've closely followed the issue, and I'd be interested to hear Thomas or anybody here on the talk. How is Ethereum slash blockchain solving the scalability problem? And when do you think we'll see millions of transactions on the blockchain safely? And what is your guys' opinion on that? Anybody? I mean, if you have an insight on this.
So
Yeah,
sorry, Thomas. So I was just gonna say my personal opinion on it. I think that's a over asked question. I think number one is just like everyone says with the internet. If you go look at 1996, could you do the type of scale and things that you can today? No, you can't, because a lot of the technology just hadn't been invented yet, right? So I think things will continue to scale. But what I think, this is my personal opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean it's based on reality, but I think you'll have a solution like a Ripple or something like that that will come, that will be across all blockchains, all tokens, all coins, where you can do settlements. And if you start talking settlements, it doesn't have to be to the minute. Of course my dog starts barking now, but it doesn't have to be to the minute whatever coin that you're transacting in. And I'll go on mute with that.
You're coming back, Sean?
Nope, that's it. Because that was just too funny of time, and he hasn't barked like in the last 2 hours. So I'm done.
So
That was
you
just
think a
an
technology
opinion
will come
piece.
to solve that?
There'll
I
be a
mean,
settlement, some type of settlement technology like Ripple or something that will be for the blockchain and for coins. That's what I was
man,
trying to say.
I'm personally disappointed by Ripple, but that's another discussion. Josh, you wanted to say something?
I don't know. I had another thought about the USD versus blockchain. What was it?
Can you hold that, Thomas? Do you have
Yeah,
an
sure.
answer to the scalability problem?
Oh yeah. I think Sean kind of mostly hit it on the head there. I would just add a few other things from my perspective. Is that when those things come up, it's not really an apples to apples. It's sort of like a disingenuous comparison, because Visa and Mastercard, just like Sean used the magic word there, settlement, right? Visa and Mastercard are subject to all kinds of settlement. I'll just call it issues. It takes many days for that settlement to happen. You may get your statement from the credit card company in, say, 30 days, but the actual settlement may take as long as 90 days. And there's issues about chargebacks and all kinds of other things that can happen. And so with these technologies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., you're talking about you get finality pretty fast. There'll be a little bit different, right? Like going forward, Bitcoin will continue to be what we call probabilistic finality. So it's just a matter of like this energy defense wall. Like as time goes on, it's so difficult to unwind those transactions that they're statistically impossible to unwind. With Ethereum, it'll be more like of a deterministic finality. So we'll know like after a certain number of blocks that it's literally impossible by the rule of consensus to undo those transactions. So really, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're talking more like the Federal Reserve, right? That's more like the final clearing layer. That's your layer one, and then Visa MasterCard is like a layer 2. That's a credit system that's put on top of the banking system. And so in the same way, we have layer 2 systems in Ethereum, right? As well as in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is called Lightning, and in Ethereum, there's several competing technologies that can get you those numbers like you're talking, right? Where things like it's called like a zero knowledge rollup, right? But using things like a zero knowledge rollup, you can get this kind of generic. So Ethereum is a arbitrary platform. You can run basically any program on Ethereum, and it's like this unstoppable application. So ZK rollups is a way that you can run those with massive scale, and that's done partially on chain and partially off chain. And then there's enough notes going back and forth to where all the off chain things basically everything is married up, so you know that nothing inappropriate happened off chain. Everything adds up like according to the accounting rule book, right? And if you try to publish something like that doesn't add up, then it would be evident that has happened, and it would be eventually rejected by the network. So we do have those capabilities through layer 2 to get to those sorts of scales that you've described. But you're right. It would not be all 100% on chain. When you look at 100% on chain, you're looking at hundreds of thousands per second, but not the millions. That'll require like that layer 2 switching.
Gotcha. Thanks for that, Thomas. Since I see there's a lot of still people around here, I'm just gonna give back the discussion around NFTs and maybe ask, whoever is on the call right now, anyone interested in doing NFTs and then just launching, creating something, putting there, or trading? What are you guys doing? What is your interest? Especially the ones that didn't speak. If you have any issues there, anything you want to mention? Melanie, Shaila, Kat, Margaret, Gonzalo. If you have anything to say about NFTs or any of your interest, would love to hear it. Josh, you were saying something, I think, or Luke?
All right. I was interested in creating NFTs. I think there's a Arweave token out there that's kind of like that website you were showing. And that one's permanent storage.
Oh, that's
thinking about, temporary storage could also be a thing too. Thing of just like taking parts of the computer and seeing if I can make tokens or something out of them.
Oh, that
so
is
my only I would just add, so I created some. So, I mean, not some, I created one. I had a company, we used to do celebrity interviews. So we had a few with boxing, greats kind of like Oscar De La Hoya and Evander Holyfield. And so I put one that we have with Evander Holyfield, and I thought it would get some traction, and it didn't. So the only thing I would just say is that I noticed all the ones that are selling, uh, they're mostly from people who are famous, and they're mostly from people that have large social media followings.
Yeah,
So that would be my only
yeah,
thing. If you don't have a social media following, probably get one or advertise it to someone who does. I think that's where you need to go to sell it. It's
yeah,
pretty easy to create them on OpenSea or
yeah.
Rarible or wherever.
Exactly, exactly. 100%. I totally agree with that. I mean, NFT is just basically the technology enabling you to sell your amazing art or content and creations online and monetize that. But you do have to do the hard work of selling, right? And that's a lot of hard work to put yourself out there and then sell your vision and then your art and your creations. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Sorry to be naive, but is OpenSea, is that a marketplace?
Mm-hmm. So OpenSea is a marketplace just like Rarible, and then somebody here said Arweave. So there are many marketplaces. So your art, for example, and your painting, you can come up with the process and then put it on one of those marketplaces, and then try to market it through your social media presence, just like Sean was saying.
Okay, thank you for that. And is there anyone specific to art or music that you'd recommend?
Yes,
Any
there are. I think there's one called, let me, I'm just Googling here, Super Rare.
Yep.
Some, I think Super Rare is a famous one I've heard of. Superrare.co. I'm gonna just paste it here in the chat. And then I'm not familiar with other ones, but I'm pretty sure there are many more. Oh, the one by the artist who sold his collection at $60 million or $69 million is
Weeble. Yep.
yeah, Weeble. I think
Weeble.
yeah, exactly. You can check where he did it. I think it's Christie Auction. They managed his sales, his NFT sale, and it was on one of the platforms. I forget which one is it. Oh, there's one also Foundation app, I think. Foundation NFT. I'm gonna just paste the link here also. Uh,
Okay.
that's where the Crypto Kitty, not the Crypto Kitty, the the cat I showed in the talk, the GIF of the cat, the Nyam cat. That's where
Yep.
he sold his NFT for around 500K. Um, and there's also the Crypto Kitties. It's a form of art. They were really famous a couple of years ago, and they're still famous. And and there's also the Crypto Punks, I think. And this was really cool. I really like this project, Crypto Punks. I'm gonna just come and type in the links. It's like an avatar, a digital picture avatar that you can have and then purchase, and then some of them are sold for hundreds of thousands or maybe 70, $80,000. And then they were giving away free at the initiation of the project. So imagine kind of the value that somebody made on these. Anyone own Crypto Punks here? Sean, maybe? Thomas, Josh, you seem to have.
No, I don't have any of those.
So I have a question to
Yep.
kind of some of the more experienced guys here in NFTs and then all of that. So I'm thinking of creating something similar to CryptoPunks, but not, I mean, not CryptoPunks, but something digitally, procedurally generated about related to our environment. So any advice you have on that? I mean, how to go about that? I don't know. Is it more of an arts question? How would you go about that?
What do you mean related to our environment exactly?
No, I mean, you are more in the blockchain and tech space, I'm assuming. Yeah, thanks, Thomas. I mean, if you would do something, if you want to do something like CryptoPunk, how would you go about that? If you're thinking about that.
So character generation.
I mean, you need your own token, obviously. So, I mean, there's plenty of services now. I created my own about 2 years ago. Well, man, that's 3 years ago now. Wow, time's flying. So I created my own about 3 years ago, an ERC20 token. There's plenty of services that do it now so cheaply.
Really?
When I did it, it cost me about 300 with the transaction fees and everything. But I think now you can do it for like, well, you know what? Ethereum's gone up, so it may be more. I don't know. When I did it was 300. That's all I can tell you. So you need your token, obviously. Then your development team, just really to develop the app, the DApp or whatever, the technology behind it. And I mean, most of those things are like, there's so many open source tools to do them now. When I was trying to do any of that stuff, it was too early in infancy, and then I got burned. That's one problem I always have. I'm too early on, and then I get burned out because the stuff doesn't match up with my vision.
Yeah.
But you're right on time. So I mean, you can go to Fiverr and find people to help you create the token, help you, with the development, everything. So I'm burned out on the space now. So, but yeah, you're at the right time.
So what are you doing in this space right now, Sean?
Well, I still have my token because I created it. I put it on Uniswap and tried to do some liquidity with it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I get bored with those things. I try and do them, and it doesn't make a million overnight, and then I get bored. So I go on to the next. I go back to my day job. So, but like I said, they're on Fiverr. You have guys that can help you create a token tonight if you want to get off here and go create one, or 20 or whatever 71, whatever the new ones are. I would get on there and do some research on some people who are highly rated, and they could help you and then get that process started, and then create your DApp. And then the main thing, I think you have to have some visuals, some animations, some things that make it look interesting. That's what CryptoKitties, I guess, looked really neat when it came out. They had some good visuals. So you can get some animators or some designers. I mean, be prepared to spend a little bit of money though if you want to do it. But I would start on Fiverr. I'm just telling you, there's people out there that can help you like day one. So
Gotcha. That's good advice. Thanks, Sean.
I
Josh,
might use a GAN, but that's.
You might use a what? I didn't hear you well. I think you're interrupting, Josh. I'm not sure if I'm the only one.
That's confusing to get working.
Can you guys hear Josh, or is it only me?
No, we cannot hear him.
Okay. All right, guys. Josh, you're interrupting. If you're.
Oh, I might use a.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Josh. Anyone has any final words to say? I mean, we're 44 minutes overboard in the discussion, but this was really, really nice. Really happy to kind of
that's
have
really
met you guys.
Huh?
Yeah, Josh, I think you have connection issues. Sorry about that. Yeah, so thank you guys for the nice session. Look out for some of our emails for future sessions. They're probably gonna be about something a bit different, maybe not blockchain or NFT. Just let us know your interest. We can design a different session in the future also. I'm always available by email. Shaila, you were saying something?
No, thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming and attending. And then great meeting you here. Add me on LinkedIn, stay in touch on social media, emails, and all of that good stuff. And then hope to see you and bump to you again soon. Have a great day.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Thanks, Luke. See you again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm off to sleep now.
Yep. Good luck sleeping, man.
Yeah, it's 3:45.
Yep.
Cheers.
All right. Good luck with your art. Share it with us. Email us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. I'll contact you on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Sure. Please do. Thanks. Bye-bye.